I know, right?
Oh man, yeah. You looking fresh. You looking fresh right there, coach. You looking fresh right there,
Right out of
man.
work, my man. Straight to the pod.
Man, look, long day, man. I've been moving and grooving since 5:30 this morning. Right after school, met up with 5 Films. Salute to 5 Films. We head up to St. John's Prep, man. They looking pretty good, man. They
Beautiful,
got a nice core guys who came back, and then they have a lot of transfers that they kind of added.
How is your boy Soul Food looking, man? That's
Man,
what we want to know.
he's looking amazing. Soul Food gotta be one of the like a point guard's point guard, right? We got a lot of guards in the city that score. A lot of point guards are scoring guards. Not saying he can't score, but a lot of his points come off defense, right? And but
he's a guy that's just going to be better at the next level, Pooh. And I just think he's such a college point guard. You know, every D2 should have offered him. You know, D1 should be looking at him. He's got so much heart. Defensively, he's a pest. I mean, imagine bringing him in for 8-10 minutes off the bench. You know, just
right.
Plug.
That's a fact.
That's a team's need.
Yeah. So let me make
Shout out Coach Kiggins, man.
Oh, for sure. Awesome job. Awesome coaching staff, man. These guys do a good job with their kids, man. But today, man, we got some awesome coaches on tonight again. Coaches Corner too. Yeah. This is getting to be a big thing right here, man. So
don't want to be left out.
Not all. So let's get the show started, man. Let's do it. And make sure we get them on so they can enjoy their Friday night. All right?
Let's do it.
Y'all know what it is. Yes, sir. Y'all know what it is. Welcome to High School Basketball Weekly. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding, here with my co-host,
Brian Reichert.
Y'all know how we do, baby. This is it. It's going down tonight. We have 2 of the top coaches in New York City, one from the Catholic School League up in the Bronx, and the other is from the PSAL in Queens. Our first guest is a 16-year veteran who has seen it all and coached some of the top talent coming out of New York City.
Oh, yeah.
For a long time. He had some studs come through that program, not to mention all the other legendary players that played up at that school. And if y'all know who we're talking about the one and only, Coach Joe Lods. For the past 2 years, he had a young core of kids who have battled with the best of New York City, and now, being battle tested, they are looking to be one of the top teams in the city. Welcome to the show, Coach Lods. What's happening?
That's a great introduction. I feel like I'm about to box somebody. My God. I'm wearing the gloves.
There you go.
Look, we just needed his intro music, and we would have had you already, Coach.
Exactly. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you,
Coach. You're, definitely a great coach in the city. We've done a lot of things and helped a lot of kids along the way, right? Come from a very storied program in Cardinal Hayes. And we want to like to, definitely welcome you on the show, man, and appreciate you joining us on this Friday night.
I appreciate you having me. I got some books behind me. Makes it look like I really actually read a few, but most of the books I've had in my life come with crayons. I usually color them in before I read them. So I'm ready to go.
Listen, if y'all don't know Coach Lowe, those of you who know him, y'all see this side of him all the time. Look, we showing it to the world. Great personality, man. Great personality and great basketball mind. Coach, what have you been doing this summer to get prepared for this upcoming season?
Drinking beer. What am I going to do in the summer? I'm a high school basketball coach. I'm not going to make it out like that I'm looking over offenses and defenses. I do that. I do that too. But I would tell young coaches in the summertime, you better spend time with your family because your kids grow up quick, and take them out. I mean, we were playing in smart ball, but I was in Florida with my wife and kids going on the rides and getting updates. So I tell coaches, it's good to coach your team, but it's good to be part of a team at home too. And you better keep up appearances with your wife and your kids, because next thing you know, they're in middle school and then they're in high school, and it's a big deal to do that too.
And Coach, I'm going to piggyback on that because I always love the way that you kind of handle it in the summer. And like you said, you spend time with family. But, you've really done a great job over the years of building, one of the best staffs. You always have young guys involved from, your lower levels to your higher levels. And talk about how you've kind of developed some coaches and your kind of your view on assistant coaches, because you do kind of trust them a lot in the summer to kind of get another voice to the kids and let your guys kind of develop as coaches too.
Well, you have to. You bring guys in. You got to give them an opportunity. In the preseason events, I let my assistants do it. Let them do it.
Yeah.
I think they spend a lot of time with the kids. I don't need to coach another game. Let these guys get out there, get experience, get their names known, get out there and really get after it and spend time with the kids and build relationships with the kids and with the other coaches. And I've had some. I have a guy who. His name is Justin Simon, who played in Long Island. He was a great career. He played at Yale. He came back. He was my assistant. Now he's a head coach at Carnegie Mellon. I have a bunch of assistants. There's another guy up at Iona Prep. I forget his name. Tom Philp.
I knew this was coming.
I think so. I remember him kind of vaguely, like a short guy, bushy hair. I think, if I recall, bushy hair. I don't know. Yeah, he's doing pretty well. So the guy I have now from Riverside, a guy named John Hawthorne, is really good. So I've been fortunate with guys. They make me look like I know what I'm doing. Really, they've been good.
Coach, it takes a special coach to kind of help mold coaches into getting a job of their own and running their own program and doing well, right? So they already know if they come in under the tutelage of yourself, that they definitely have a chance. And high school is going to be kind of poaching the next assistant coach that comes out of your program. What have you seen so far with your kids and some of these pickup games that you guys been having and a few workouts that you guys had already?
I have guys who can score, and that's exciting. I like to. I'm a fan of offense. I think that nowadays, even in high school basketball, if we come down, we run a play. If I'm yelling out, blue, there's. I look at the St. Ray's bench, and 4 guys jump up and say blue, blue, blue. I'm like, shit, they know that plays better than our kids, better than my staff. They're positioning guys. I'm like, oh my God. So then the shot clock's running down. You need guys who are going to make a play. And it's worse in college. So the shot clock's running down. All of a sudden it becomes, can you beat your guy? And I'm excited about the fact that I have guards who can play that can beat their guy when things break down. I think we're going to get good looks at the basket this year. Hopefully, more go in than usual.
And Coach, with this roster you've had, last year you told me we're young, wait to the playoffs, wait on us, wait for us to kind of get cooking. This year you've had good roster retention. You got some really good guys coming back, like you said, some guys with a lot of promise. Talk about how you guys kind of make that transition for being, kind of a younger team. And, you may not be up there with the top teams, but you're definitely one of those teams that's fighting for one of those top spots. So how do you kind of make that transition, Coach, from a younger squad to kind of a more championship kind of focused squad?
Well, first of all, I always tell the kids that, it's championship or bust. We're not a moral victory team. We're Cardinal Hayes and Jamal Mashburn had a great career, and Jimmy Black played in the backcourt with Michael Jordan, and we got a list of guys who, we got a guy Jerry Ward playing in the NBA. We have a list of guys. Like, we're not here to make it to the quarterfinals, guys, and it has to be. We tell them the standard's a standard. So we're trying to do big things. So. It's hard work. It's a lot of time for the kids. They put the time in, and I tell kids, we have a young team. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw stuff up. Don't look over with me at the bench. I'm not going to pull you out. Keep playing. And the same thing I tell my young coaches. You're going to make mistakes. I remember, Tom Konchowski would come to the game, and I drive him home because he always took the bus. I mean, the legend. It was unbelievable just to talk to him. And he said, the best advice he ever gave me is, he would sit with Coach K, and Coach K would tell him, I wasn't always Coach K. The first year, they wanted to fire him early on.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was done. And, people don't realize, I tell my guys, we've had guys screw up some stuff. And I said, guy, don't worry about it. Tomorrow's a new day. We'll figure it out. And I tell our kids, the good coaches that did it in the past, guys I remember John Carey telling me, it's 24 scrimmages. All that matters is the playoffs. All I'm going to remember is the playoffs. So, if we lose in December, okay. If we lose in January, okay. As long as we're getting better. So I tell the kids, let's just get better, and hopefully at the end of the year, we're ready to go. I thought we got better last year. We played a real good game in the quarterfinals, lost in overtime. But, hopefully we'll go a little farther this year.
Well, speaking of that game, that overtime game.
Yeah, Coach.
We were calling that game. And actually, the play you called, I got it right. Before it went down. I was just looking for the footage just now. I'll send you that. We were on the side calling the game. Malik Fields is taking the ball out. I said, Malik is going to take the ball out and get it back because he was on fire. He could not miss. When that happened, we was on the sidelines going bananas.
Me too.
What a great play. What a great play and a great shot. And he got fouled.
I thought he got fouled. I'm yelling for the foul. If he's fouled, we win the game, and who knows what happens next.
He got fouled. There was no way.
I think it was just shock, Coach, that it went in, and I think the refs had no idea because if you look, Coach, it almost looked like one of them called the foul, and then they were just it went in. I don't know.
That was crazy. We would practice that. The last month we went over, we do situational stuff. And I say, if we're in a situation, we need a 3 on the side. This is what we're going to run. And we would call it side out 2. And we would go over and over. And the kids would say, it's never going to happen. This is not going to be the situation. It's here now. Let's run it.
Right.
And to our guys' credit, they ran it correctly. And Malik made the shot. And the best game he ever played was on the right stage. He committed to Quinnipiac today in Tom Pecora. So he got Division I scholarship. Congratulations to him and his family.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Was just going to talk about that, Coach. Just going to say, how proud are you of Malik's journey from when he first got to Hayes to now?
It's easy to talk about kids like Ian Jackson and Elijah Moore. If those kids didn't come to Cardinal Hayes, those kids were going to be fine anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not dumb enough to take credit for guys like that. Those kids were talented kids, but a guy like Malik who came in as a sophomore, fought his way up, just battled. He's before school he's working out, after school he's working out. Just a kid that really came up to our system and really worked for what he got, really. So I'm proud of him. He's a kid who really deserves it. He's solid. He doesn't turn the ball over. He makes open shots. And the high Division I guys are easy. The kids who are marginal and could end up in the MAC if they work hard, or could end up Division II if they get a girlfriend. those are the guys that kind of teeter. But I get excited about kids when we have a bunch of kids playing D2 basketball, Division III basketball. People wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
But there's a point that they could have went off the edge and gave up basketball and didn't do as well as they did, or maybe didn't qualify. But I like watching. I like tuning in and watching some of my guys on the lower levels because I know how hard they made it, how hard it was for them to get there, and they take pride in any uniform that they wear. So it's a good thing.
One of my favorite players to watch this summer was, along with Malik, was Bryce Yancey. Man, he has really stepped up his game, and you could tell he worked on his game during the summer because he's looking a lot more refined than he did last year, and he's still young. He got a lot more years to go. What was your thoughts? What is your thoughts on Bryce and his improvements for this year?
Bryce is a tough little guy. He thinks he's 6'5". He's not, but he'll go up and he'll dunk the ball on you. I tell him his best attribute that he has is that he's fearless. He goes in. Sometimes you go on these road games and kids start looking around. They get the big eyes and they hear voices. But Bryce is a kid who he wants the big stage. He wants to compete, and he wants to talk trash, and he wants to go back and forth with you. It's kind of like throwback guys that I've had in the past that are just like, tough little dudes who aren't
little DJ Victory-esque or what?
Exactly. He's got, I love DJ Victory. DJ was a better defender. Bryce is a better shooter, offensive player. He's going to be better. But, DJ Victory got MVP of the championship game where we beat Stepanak. So wherever you are, DJ, we love you and thank you, man.
That's right. You got to come on, basketball heads, man. You got to come on, basketball heads. We'll celebrate you, man. Look, I got him and Malik down as one of the top 5 backcourts in the city for sure.
Oh, coach, to piggyback on that, because I agree with Pooh. I think those guys are really working well together. Who are maybe some other guys on this Hayes roster that could kind of surprise some people? Because in the team camp, you had some guys stepping up, making some plays, and you guys have looked good in the summer too.
We have a kid named Christian Brown who plays with Riverside. He's grown. He's a young kid. He's got a baby face, but he puts a lot of time in his game. He really shoots the ball well. I think he's going to be a 15-point per game scorer. Wow. I think he's going to take a major step forward. I'm counting on Hector Almodovar to come in and
most definitely
get us into offense. Hector, run the show, play with poise. He's like one of these throwback type point guards who's just tough kid who's not going to turn it over, take a charge. I'm counting on him. And I need my big kid, AB. I tell him, you got to show up, but it's time. The lights got to go on at some point for you. And now is as good a time as any. He slimmed down. He's got a real nice touch on his jump shot.
Yeah, he does.
He's feeling good. He's got a little goatee on his face now. All of a sudden he's coming into his own a little bit. He's got to average a double-double for us to be good. If he's getting 12 and 10, all of a sudden, you're not going to want to play us in the playoffs.
Let's talk about some of those glue guys. Some of those guys that in practice, they're pushing the starters to their highest level and challenging them as well, and also being patient and waiting their turn for their time to shine.
Sure, we have a kid named Nasir Campbell who's a senior who's kind of a glue guy. He'll rebound the ball. He'll share the ball. He'll complain that he doesn't get enough minutes, but then he'll apologize to me after the game. It's like a running thing. We have a kid named Suleiman Cohen who was a freshman last year, started every game for us. I expect him to make a leap forward. He does kind of a little bit of everything.
Yep.
I know I'm forgetting someone. I'm going to get a call tonight. You can, I'm sure I will. We got a kid from the football team, Saleh Adario, who's like 6'7", just Coach O'Neill, our football coach, is toughening him up for me. He's gonna knock the heck out of some guys, and he's coming in with fouls to give. We have a shot. We have a shot. We think we can have a pretty solid year here.
Yeah, I think you guys definitely have potential for sure. And another thing, Coach, it's kind of becoming a theme more now And, it's something like me and you, coach, would laugh at probably like 3 or 4 years ago. But you almost got to pay attention to it. And Pooh kind of got really shown it a couple weeks ago with the camp. But could you talk about maybe your 2029 incoming class? Because I think this class is going to be very big in the Catholic League. And I almost think a lot of programs are going to lean on this class probably more than they think. How's your class looking? And is there maybe any guys you think could potentially help? I know you guys were young, but maybe depth or will help out throughout the varsity maybe?
Yeah, we have a really good freshman from the Ren's program named Avian Rodriguez. He's good. I've seen him in open gym. He's a talented kid. He's a kid he'll play in the varsity with us.
Yeah,
he can play. And we brought a kid, Jalen Sumlin, from the Whiz Kids. We got I lose track. We bring a lot of kids. And it's kind of, you hope that kids develop. You hope that they have a strong work ethic, because it's kind of like the lottery. You don't really know. You don't really know how kids are going to react to getting in the weight room.
Yeah. And you took a chance on a lot of freshmen last year.
That's right. When a lot of guys kind of bolted, everybody was like counting you guys out like, oh, that was it. And you brought in those young guys, and that's all I was hearing. Yo, Pooh, you got to see Cardinal Hayes play. Them young kids, they get at it.
Yeah.
So
I just kept trying to tell them that they were better than they were, because I never had a losing record. I didn't want to have a losing record, so I kept telling these guys, "Oh, you're good. You remind me of this guy. You remind me of that guy." They start to believe it. So that's all you really do. You try to instill confidence in kids as much as you can.
Mm.
You try to just really keep. I try to be a positive guy. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not a real strict disciplinarian with the kids. Like, I can't be something I'm not. I remember my favorite coach was Jack Alisi from Zavarian. Like, I used to watch Jack. I used to go play Jack Alisi. I didn't even know what the hell was happening in the game. Like, I just know at the end of the game we lost, and then I'd call him after the game, Jack, what happened? Like, but he was just such a gentleman that he'd take my call and we talk.
Yeah.
And I remember even like when he stopped coaching, like I call him once or twice a year to just kind of talk to him about basketball and just kind of, pick his brain about stuff. Like he's so good. And just, it's strange, time goes. And, I'm happy that I've been able to hang on long. And I'm like one of the older coaches in the league.
That's all of a sudden, right, Coach?
When we first get in the A League, I never forget, because I first get the job and I'm pumped up. And I think I'm a big shot. I'm a Catholic League coach. And then, and we were in the A League, and you show up, you go down to Xavier, and you're playing against Joe McGrain, and you're like, what the hell's happening? Back cutting me and back screening me. And I'm like, shit, why are we down 20 to Xavier? And the next day you show up at like Fordham Prep, and you think Fordham Prep, doctors and dentists, and Kevin Piggott's running the Princeton offense. And I'm like, shit, what's happening here? Like,
right.
Getting back cut. I'm 0-2, and I'm like, maybe this wasn't such a great idea, this head coach and stuff. But, it's just, there's a lot of good coaches in the league.
Yeah, I was going to say, Coach, what do you think of like the state of the league now? Because, we've heard a lot of different things ranging from, me and Pooh, we know how rich and crazy it was. And we know, listen, there's no NBA guys playing JV, now. It's very rare. Guys get pulled up a lot, and it's very different than what it was. But there's still a lot of talent. I think the coaching is great. A lot of the programs are all in. I think the league is, right there with some of the best in the country.
There's talent all over the league. I'm telling you, show up at some of these gyms and think you're going to have an easy game, especially on the road. I mean, top to bottom, there are really good players in the league. And, people say, last year's player of the year, the kid Rollins went to a MAC school, Fairfield. And now I saw the kid Sacco from St. Francis. Jim Lynch does a good job. He committed to Fairfield.
Yep.
So that's not a negative for the league. Those kids worked hard and they got scholarships. You had a kid like Brandon Storrs go to Georgia Tech. You got Masseroni's got those tall guys who could really, the Ratliff guys, those kids are going high. There's plenty of talent in the league. I hope they don't play well against me, but the league's full of talent. The problem I have, and this is, I don't want to get, blackballed by the AU guys. They got to keep guys home. Like, they're in such a hurry. Oh, he's really good. Let me send him to Connecticut. Like, what are you doing? The kids are so worried about this.
Get him, Coach. Get him,
listen,
Coach.
That drives me crazy. It's like they get to a certain point, they go, okay, now it's time to leave New York City. What do you mean?
For what? You know, like even when you tell me the kid left St. John's Prep, I watched St. John's Prep. I don't know Coach Giddens, but I heard good things about him, and I'd watched St. John's Prep, and he lets kids play and they press, having a good time. Where are you going? You know, St. John's is getting themselves on the map. Why leave, guys? Why leave? And when you guys tell me, I had a kid leave over the summer, went down to North Carolina to do whatever. I'm like, oh man, where are you going? You know, I wish the AAU coaches would come together and say, let's keep kids home. You know, they're so worried about, you know, open gym and other coaches coming in and poaching their guys. And, you know, that's what affected the league, I think. The fact that, you know, some of
the rush to leave.
You know, getting advice to get out, get away from the city. I tell parents, stay with your children as long as you can.
Yeah.
If you want to see your son play, you want to drive up to the middle of Connecticut, don't even get service. You know, and now I'm going to watch my son play in some school that he really has no kind of camaraderie with, you know, just to say he was there for a year. I mean, I'm not buying it, you know, so.
Yeah. No connection to student body, right? It's
no,
like
exactly.
You miss those things as a youngster.
No, exactly. Come to Carl Hayes, you have, you know, you see Joe Toussaint shooting in the gym. You see Jalen Murray shooting in the gym. We have Hayes guys come back. I tell them, please come and use the gym and talk to our kids. You know, and I think that's a big deal to try to stay connected to your high school. You know, tradition's a big thing. The Catholic League's full of it. There's no reason to leave, but you know, everybody's got a mentor, which I don't know. The mentors I've met need mentors. That's all I'll say.
Or they got the BAC with them. They got the bad advice crew. They got a whole crew just giving them bad advice. Like, listen, trust me, you can go Division I, you know, especially if you don't got no grades. Just keep praying. Just go to another school.
Doesn't make sense. Most of these guys have ulterior motives that the parents don't see through. And I tell parents all the time, I don't have an incentive lane contract. I get paid the same couple thousand. I don't care really where you go. I want you to go to a situation where you're happy. I don't try to steer kids anywhere. There's really no reason to go anywhere. But, you know, I mean, I've had guys leave when guys come to me and they tell me I got offered a lot of money to go to, you know, OTE or something. Who the hell knows? Well, everything's got letters nowadays. But like, I tell kids, let's make a deal. If you have a better situation where you're making money, go ahead. God bless you. I can't hold it. But don't break up with me by text. That's what drives me nuts. You know what I mean? Like,
get him, coach. I love that.
You can't break up with me by text. You know, you come back, let's have a conversation. We'll shake hands. I wish you well, but I can't get some, you know, thanks for the opportunity. What opportunity are we talking about? Hello, can we? And then I call, write the voicemail. But when you need something, I pick up. I write back to kids when you needed something, I picked up. Yeah. You know, so I wish that if the mentor or the parent is so hell-bent on leaving, at least tell the kid to man up, take ownership of his decision, go sit down with the high school coach and say, thanks for my time here. You treated me well, treated me fairly, but I've decided to move on. And how can I be mad at that point?
Yeah, especially if you treat it, you know, with maturity and respect, and, you know, have respect someone who's given you that much time and effort and cared about you and things like that. I'm totally with you, Coach. And you mentioned, you know, about the things with the AAU program directors or something, and, you know, maybe getting together. What are some other things that maybe could potentially make the league a little better in your eyes?
Most of the coaches I speak to, and I speak to these guys regularly, you know, Masseroni and that guy that I own, I'm not going to mention him, and some other guys. And we generally talk about the same things, you know, problems that they have with parents, you know, parents, it's hard for them to be objective. They look at it and they say, oh, my son can do that. My son can do this. My son can do that. And sometimes reality is that he can't, you know, like, you should not go to your son's practice. The coach doesn't want you there.
Preach.
My son doesn't want you there, and then his friends make fun of him later because you were there. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you have to kind of cut the cord, let the kid find his way. If his way is Division II, okay. If it's Division I, or if it's high major, whatever it may be. But
Yeah.
Calling the coach, and my son. I have a parent who calls me up. My son should be playing the 2. Like, what's the 2? What's the 1? What's the 3? The 2? Look, I don't understand. I tell parents all the time, your son is what he can guard. Right? So you want your son to be the 1? Can he guard Boogie Flant? No. He's not the 1. You know what I mean? Are you going to stay in front of Joe Toussaint? If you can't, then your son's not the 1. Well, I guess he could be the 2. Well, there's some 2s out here in the city who could play 2.
Yeah.
Like if I'm hiding you on defense, I'm not dying to get you in on offense. So interesting times.
Yeah, my favorite thing when I was coaching is tell a parent, go coach your old team. You can take your son with you.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's just what it is. I support parents that support their kids, but when it starts to cross the line, to tell a coach what they should be doing and how they should be playing their child, I think you should take them somewhere else that somebody's going to listen to you, or start your own team, and you could have your kids shoot 1,000 times a game and play every position.
Every coach is partial to the kids who help him win. Like there's no ulterior motive. There's no, you don't like my son. If you're shooting 20% from the field, I don't like your son. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Like,
that's true.
We're all, and same with every coach in the league. Like there's no, he only plays the kids from this program or that program. Everybody, we're all trying to win.
Yeah.
So there's no favoritism. When the parents started telling me about favoritism, that's when that's time to break contact.
Yeah.
At that point. So.
And not by text, right? You should give them a call.
Yeah, slowly. Have a face-to-face meeting, So we'll see.
Hey, Coach, this is a little bit off topic, right?
Uh-oh. Oh.
Having you on tonight, right? And Coach Tim Phillips was kind of warning us about this. You have such an awesome personality. Have you ever heard you being compared to Norm Macdonald?
I have a relative on my wife's side who told me that I was remind me of Norm Macdonald. Yeah, I get,
I'm a comic guy. Like I go back with comics, and I have this thing with comics and mob movies. Like I'm just like a sucker for those things.
Rodney Dangerfield. I was a big Rodney Dangerfield fan, but I like Norm too.
Norm, kind of looks similar, and just your wit. It's like, Coach, what did you do to prepare for the summer? It's like, I was home drinking beers.
What are we gonna do? Well, listen, I don't want to say that. You mentioned Tim, and I joke around. Tim knows it. Tim was an outstanding coach. I remember we were the one thing I always my best memory of Tim Phil is we had beaten Lachlan to go to the finals at St. John's, and I'm sitting there with Tim Philp, and Stepanak is playing Malloy, and I'm sitting there, and I'm openly rooting for Stepanak because Malloy had Cole Anthony and Moses Brown, and they got Khalid. They had a crew, and I'm sitting like, shit, how we're not beating them unless somebody gets sick. So, and I'm rooting for Stepanak. I'm like, come on, Pat, call timeout. Like I'm coaching Pat, and I'm sitting there, and Tim is mad. Tim's rooting for Malloy. And I'm like, Tim, we can't be drinking beer in front of the kids. He's like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, Tim, what are you doing? He's like, no, Joe. We want Malloy. We want to leave no doubt. We came too far. We're going to settle it. But let's leave no doubt. And he's fired up. And Malloy wins Malloy wins the game, and Tim's fired up. And he said to the team, I remember before the game, we got what we wanted. We're going to win the game. We're going to leave no doubt tonight. And, after he spoke, I didn't even need to speak. I was like, amen. And, Moses Brown got his second foul early in the second quarter. And I sit there with Tim. I'm like, shit, they're going to go zone. And McCleary pulled him out.
Yep.
And I was like, shit, don't tell him. Don't tell him he can play zone right now. Don't tell him he can go zone and we won't be able to do anything. And they took Moses Brown out. They stayed in man. we just hung around as the game wore on. We just kept telling the kids, look, they're getting tighter. They're getting tighter. They're panicking, guys. They're panicking. Got them. And, Cole missed a shot at the buzzer. And, it was a nice night for me in Rose Hill Gym. Never forget.
Coach Phillips called it, baby. Coach Phillips called it. Look, I can imagine just having some beers and having dinner with you guys, right? Coach Phillips would be fired up, and you'll just be slinging jokes.
Tim runs a big camp up there at Iona. Tell Tim to bring his money with him. Tim runs a nice, fancy camp up in Iona. Full going. Tim's paying for the 4 of us. Tim was in his pocket for once.
Definitely. I'm going to keep that in mind. Me and Brian, we're going to show up.
Absolutely.
We don't want some bullshit diner food. He's been doing the right thing. Guy never bought me a sandwich. We worked together. Still got his communion money, Tim.
Oh, man.
Man, hey, Coach, listen, we definitely going to have you back up here. You listen, definitely the most funniest coach you that had up here. You and Tim together.
It's only the second week. There's better guys than me coming. Smarter guys. Week 2. The guy Ben's
your opening line will not be beat, Coach Lowe. Just letting you know. Your opening
definitely. For sure. And listen, I'm gonna send me the schedule of you guys open runs, whatever, and I'm gonna pull up for sure. All right.
You're always welcome. I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's always good to talk to you guys. So anytime you want to come, please. I'll talk. You watch a game, whatever it is you want to do, we'll do it. Thank you, guys. Really, I really appreciate it. It's nice to be on.
No doubt. Appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Coach. You're the best.
Keep in touch. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.
All right. Wow. Hands down.
You and Pooh, you don't know him like that, right? Dude, he is one of the funniest guys
we always speak, but we never really had the conversation that we had tonight.
Oh my God.
From beginning to end.
Yep. He kills me every time. His one-liners are incredible. We don't even
he can do stand-up. He can actually do stand-up. He can just go up there on the stage and just sit down and just talk to the crowd. I was so happy you brought up that comedy part because it is such a part of like his personality. And like by the time you're done talking to him, you're like, oh yeah, we got to talk about basketball. Such a good guy, such a great character in the Catholic League for sure. Man, such a class act.
No doubt.
Where's Coach
Bill? And what a night, huh? Malik Fields to Quinnipiac. What a day for Hayes, man.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I'll hit Coach right now. There you go. Hey, look, Coach is in the building.
Appreciate you, Coach, for waiting.
Man, this has been awesome. We just gonna keep the show rolling. We gonna keep the show rolling and keep it rolling nice. All right. Now, woo! This is Coach had me going. All right. Our next guest is another veteran head coach by ways of the PSAL. He's been head coach at his school for 14 years. He also has experience on the JUCO level, spending 4 years as head coach at LaGuardia Community College and 3 years as assistant coach at Nassau Community College. He has transformed his program throughout the years and made a huge splash last year. And this year, I know they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to rumble and ready to roll. Please welcome to the show, Forest Hill head coach, Ben Chobhaphand. I hope I said that right. I know I'm going to just beat up that whole name right there.
Ben Chobhaphand.
Chobhaphand. Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm like pronouncing the B. I want to get the B in there. I want to get the hap in there. Like, Ben, what's up, baby? How you doing, bro?
How we doing, Coach?
How you doing, Brian? Appreciate y'all having me on the show. Appreciate y'all.
Did you catch any of
Coach Lods? Follow Coach Lods.
Hey, listen, Coach, with the kind of season you had, you could follow up anybody, my man.
That's right.
And that's why we had to have Forest Hills in the building, because you guys were unbelievable last year, and we just got to talk about it. Talk about how incredible last year was for the school, the program, and even you personally as a coach.
I think last year was a great year with such a young core group.
Mm-hmm.
With Aaron Tutt, Miles Doolin, Aiden Zamora to graduate, Chance Tillman to graduate, Millie TT, and Zion Hamilton. And 4 of those 6 guys come back. And, you know, we played 5 guards.
Yeah.
Played 5 guards and, you know, lost a bound in the regular season when 4 starters were sick. We only lost 1 game in the regular season. And the last 30 seconds of the Borough tournament, oh, man, we still can't sleep about that. I go tell
I hear you, Coach. I hear you.
And going to Jeff, when Jeff was giving everybody the belt, you know, we were down 12 going in the 4th. My guys were believing, and, you know, it came up a little short, but I'm excited about this year. I got 90% of my team back, a couple transfers, so we're very excited, working hard.
Speaking of transfer, right? Listen, New York, every year, the transfer portal is growing exponentially. Like, it's just growing every year. From the first year, it was like 30-some kids. Last year, it was like 60-some kids. I think maybe close to 75, over 80 kids have transferred throughout the city, from low tier, mid tier to high tier. How have you taken advantage of that situation, and do you have any pushback towards the high school transfer portal?
So, you know, I believe kids should go where they feel they're going to have a chance to be successful. If a kid wants to go, parents want to take them. You know, you want to go where you're going to be happy. You think what's your best situation. Personally, at Forest Hills, we grow within our own culture. We have a culture, and I think that's why we've been successful. Like Aaron Tutt is a freshman, all-city first-team public school kid. His 2 brothers played for me. I know a lot of people know that. His 2 brothers played for me 2 years, and the other one was a point guard with Maurice Harkless in 2009. He was a 3-year varsity player. Miles Doolin was my, you know, high school. His father was my high school teammate. He's gonna be a lead scorer. Millie, he's from Left Rack. The kids from Left Rack come to Forest Hills.
Wow.
So it's culture here. So we have family ties, and most of the guys we were talking about the other day, we probably only had 2 guys transfer in our era that were starters or impact guys in my 14 years. You know, we believe in culture. We believe in building from within. And I know this is like a microwave mentality these kids have now. Our kind of thing right now, we don't do edits, we do work.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Don't put up edits and this and that. You know, we're here to work, get it done. We have a mission. We're 30 seconds away from our second Borough tournament championship. And I think, you know, and I know all roads go through Brooklyn, so we had to go through Jeff. We want to get through that Brooklyn wall to get to the final in the city championship.
And you could tell some of those poachers were definitely on your guys, especially your young guys. I know they were facing a ton of pressure, but talk about the kind of trust that you developed them and really the empowerment you gave those guys to, you know, not only be crucial part of the team, but really run the show. Those 2 freshmen were huge throughout the year.
Yeah, we like I said, it's a culture thing, it's a family thing. Aaron's brothers played, and we trusted him with the ball as a 14-year-old. Miles Doolin came off the bench at 14. Now he was starting at the end of the season. He averaged 10 points, averaged 17. Millie TTs are my first 4-year varsity player in my 14 years.
Wow.
4 years, he's a 6'4", 6'5", big college-ready guard. And Zion Hamilton is a big piece. He's a little older guard that's, you know, that's been there 3 years too. So we have guys that 4-year, 3-year guys. And then the young guys stepping up, like Coach Lloyd said, he had many young guys, and we just watched them develop. We like to peak in February going into March. We don't want to play basketball in September. Doesn't mean anything. So, you know, we gave them the opportunity with the ball, Aaron and Miles, to try to do what they can. And they learn through mistakes. And thank God we had a lot of W's through those mistakes. They grew so much.
So Mercy Snack said John Brown versus Forest Hills season opener rematch. Ooh. That's for real?
No, that is the season opener rematch. I guess.
All right, we're gonna bypass that. We're gonna bypass that. Look, coach.
Yeah, all right.
Coaching, you know, on the college level and high school level for a long period of time. What keeps you motivated, especially now coming back and helping out the younger kids from the community?
So my friend Abdul Torrance at Thurgood Marshall texted me yesterday. I didn't know you played at Forest Hills. What? So I have a lot of pride in Forest Hills. I played here for 3 years, JV a year, 2 years. I played on the 98 team that lost in the Garden in 1998 to Grady.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people know that, but we had 6 players on my team. You know, Jaja Bay, Dev Bay's father, that plays at Holy Cross. He was on my team. They won't get.
And I just found that out yesterday. Like, I was like, "What? That's little that's little Devin." Like, I didn't make the connection. Anyway, yeah, that's dope.
They won players. They won Gary. Went to LIU. Anthony Doolin played at Delaware State. Miles' father. We had a lot of the Ronald Yates. That's you're gonna, you know, he's gonna be coaching in the PSL school this year that you guys are gonna see. He played at St. overseas, so we had a lot of Division I players on that team. I came off the bench, and you know we were lost in the city championship by 8. And never forget that. That's kind of been my driving thing to win another city championship. And I have pride. I played there, and like I said, I coached there, and I teach here at Forest Hills for 21 years. I'm phys ed teacher here. So that's
definitely a good reason.
That's awesome, Coach. Congrats on that. That's awesome. 20+ years, and you can feel it. You can feel it every time you're on the court how much this all means to you. You know, but give us a little insight, Coach. How's that schedule looking for this upcoming season? Because last year you were taking on everybody you could, and I know you're ready to step it up even further. So, are there any big hitters? You guys going anywhere? What's the update on the schedule?
Yeah, we don't run from no smoke. As my assistant coach. Run for no smoke. We're not one of those Queens team. We're not those Queens team. We're this Queen. We are the Queens team. We don't run from no smoke. As my assistant coach, Coach Thompson, would say, you know, we run down. We want to run down, right? Our non-league schedule, we want to play everybody and anybody. We start off. We got at Bud's thing. We got Clinton, which I think would be very good in the Hirsch class. We're playing Brooklyn Collegiate in Elite 32. You know, we're playing some PSL teams. We're going to Houston for 2 games in Martin Luther King week. We're playing right in Houston, Texas, against Xavier Academy and another team. We have Gary Charles' tournament in Long Island. I'm looking at my schedule right here. We got what else do we have?
Who do y'all play? Do y'all know who y'all playing in Gary Charles?
It's going to be a Catholic school, Kellenberg, I think.
Okay.
Or St. Dom's. And we play a Scanlon's tournament. Hopefully we get Scanlon in that. We played them last year. It came down to the last shot. So, you know, I want to put my guys through the smoke and play everybody. Like I always said, it only matters at the end of playoffs. So we want every opportunity to see where my guys are. We want to test it.
Being in the game for so long, and seeing a lot, and even as a player, who were some of the coaches that you looked up to that kind of motivated you to want to be a head coach?
My coach, Erwin Iser, he coached 30 when you were playing in high school. He coached 32
That's
years.
A fact. That's a fact.
Coached Grunfeld, Kenny Patterson.
Yeah.
Those are NBA players, you know. And he was a phys ed teacher. He coached me. I seen his lifestyle, and I was like, "Well, I could do this." But the only school that recruited me out of high school, where I graduated from, SUNY Cortland, had phys ed, and it just lined up that way. Where I was recruited to have phys ed, went to Cortland, graduated, and everything. Played in college at Queensboro, so it was just lined up for me. And my head coach, Coach Iser, was one. I would call him my rabbi, and my JV coach, Coach Baumfeld. my coach Baumfeld, my other rabbi, JV coach, he helped me get the teaching job at Flushing High School first in 2003 before I came to Forest Hills. And that's where I met my wife, and I have 2 beautiful kids. Son plays basketball now.
Man, Coach, a lot of things coming up right for Coach right now. I like to hear it. You're trending in the right direction. And, you know, as much as, like you talked about, you have a lot of talent coming back, a lot of the percentages, offense coming back. But just tell all of our listeners, people in the city, Like, how special can this kid, Aaron Tutt, be? And is he one of the best kind of guys that you've kind of had your hands on as a coach?
Definitely, Aaron is going to be the first 4-year starter. He played EYBL this summer, 15U with New York Lightning. Had a solid EYBL. He got hurt a little, played through it.
Yeah.
His talent is this kid plays so damn hard.
Yeah.
He plays so hard. He can handle the ball. He's always up for the moment. Worked so hard this summer on his game. He took 1,300 shots one day with me on the gun. He's always willing to work. Locked in the weight room. I think he could be a scholarship player. Definitely be a scholarship player when it's all said and done. Division I point guard.
Yeah.
You know, we're harping on him to be a leader. You know, talk like a Division I point guard would be, and I think he has all his brothers that would, you know, and his father help him become who he is. You know, father's a big supporter. His brother was a point guard that played for me, led Queens in assists 2 out of 3 years. He was on varsity. His older brother Amir won a city championship with Cardozo, and when they would race Ray and them. So he knows he comes from a basketball family. I think he sky's the limit. He could be the all-time leading scorer, the most winning kid if he continues to lock in. Not just as a 14-year-old. I think he's the best sophomore in public school. Period.
Love it, Coach. Love the confidence.
Yeah, I know them jump shot workouts is definitely gonna pay off, man. He add that to his game, man.
And he's a ball hawk. He's one of the best defenders on the ball now.
Yeah.
You know, we got some good transfer that's gonna help him too. No public school portal kids. You know, we got 2 great transfers, Noah Patterson and Titan Roberts, are gonna help us a lot too.
Public school portal kids. I'm gonna take that right there. I'm gonna take that. Hey, look, Mercy Snack said, "What's your overall thoughts on Queens this year?"
Queens run through us.
Oh, love that. That's
Y'all heard
Coach.
it. Y'all heard it here. Y'all heard it here first. Queens run through Forest Hills. Put that in your bank.
And
you
now,
material, whatever. Like Lloyd's assistant that wanted Malloy, and they got what they got. I want everybody's best shot. Everybody best shot. Ducking nobody. We don't want no, you know, this. They had that. No. Queens runs through us.
now, Coach, I love that. I think, you know, like I said, your program's doing a great job. I think you're one of the stars of the PSAL. How do we make the PSAL better, Coach? How do we kind of improve this league? Little things here and there that could really make the difference to bring the best out of this league.
I think bracket breaker right before the playoff seeding. You know, in NCAA they have bracket breaker week right before the playoff. Whoever you think is going to be seeded where, let them kind of play each other, you know, in your head where you can see them and bracket break them, as in, okay, you win there. I think that is one of the things that will help for seeding. I think PSL's Lee Church has done a great job doing team camps. That's amazing. I think it's going in the right direction. Lee's doing a great job.
Definitely.
Like we had some great opportunities at team camp to see our team and get some great victories and learn some things about ourselves. I think PSL used to do like non-league matches of borough to borough, and it wouldn't count towards your schedule. That I think they should bring that back.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and number one thing, like I know all the coaches, please PSL Elite 8 should be in a college atmosphere. We can't go these. I got to go to Jeff in the Elite 8. I got to go to Eagle Brooklyn in the Elite 8.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Who think about it, you get to see the Elite 8, one gym, St. John's, a whole day of basketball. I used to look forward to that. Elite 8, you go to Final Four, everybody's in one gym. It's a high school basketball thing that everybody would love to be in. Just like they, like the borough championship. Same
it was
thing.
Never in someone's school, bro. It was never in someone's school, bro. It defeats the whole purpose.
And the borough championship, each borough, like they did in Queens College, was great. That's how they should have these.
Yes.
And they've done it before because I've been to Elite Eight 4 times. And always was in the college until this time. You know, to this time. The year before we played Eagle Brooklyn and achieved first, and there's 2 games going on at the same time, one on top of the.
And I'm running to catch one, and I couldn't see the end of this game, so I'm running downstairs. It was crazy. Yeah, not a good look.
Playing in the PSL and coaching him for so long, you know, like I said, I think Lee's doing a great job. I just think those little fixes can help. I think you would agree, Brian and Poole. I don't know if anybody sees more back.
I definitely agree.
No,
I'm serious because you hit around the now. I didn't enjoy that time running from game to game, gym to gym, and I was missing a lot of action, a lot of good games. You know,
not maximizing the product out there for sure.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Mercy Snag he said, what's one matchup you're looking forward to a lot?
What matchup I'm looking forward to a lot?
Anybody in particular, coach, you're looking for next year?
No, anybody, everybody.
He said he's not ducking the smoke.
Yeah, like what?
He's gonna say everybody.
I'm supposed to be nice. Let's go. You supposed to be good. Let's go. No, but I learned though. Kev Hamilton set me up when we was undefeated in Queens 3 years ago. We went into the Eagles' nest. Nobody did that. We went over there. You know, got a terrible lesson, but I wasn't scared over there. Wasn't scared to play there.
That's a tough place to win at right there.
Really is.
Yeah.
Wasn't scared. You can't get better running from the smoke.
Well, I'm hearing Mercy Snag again. So I'm hearing the town wants Eagle versus Hills in the preseason. What's up with that?
In the preseason, I mean, if they playing in the tournaments we play in the same race, test the waters. If they in there, fine. We in the preview at St. Francis Prep. If they in that, fine. But
y'all gonna have to meet each other in the playoffs anyway. So
like it'll be. Let them match it up. I respect whoever Eagles fans are. I respect Dion's doing a great job.
Yo, he is doing a fabulous job, man. Salute to Dion, man. That's right. Yeah. That's right. He's doing a fabulous job.
And coach, I'm gonna have you put on your JUCO hat a little bit because I know you know how to recruit. I know you know how to look at other teams and who's playing well. Who are some other guys in the PSAL that have kind of impressed you that are going to be seniors or maybe juniors? Anybody in the PSAL catch your eye that you've maybe played against or watched in Queens College?
In Queens, besides my guys?
No, I was saying when you were at Queens College, it could be any borough, anybody. I'm
sorry.
I was saying it could be any borough, coach. Any borough. Doesn't have to be Queens.
Players now, and that's it. Any borough. Obviously, Jada. Everybody knows about Jada. Who else did we see? Brook Collegiate. That's who else? Connor's going. I like the kid from okay, he graduated from Thurgood Marshall, the big kid that just signed with Morehead.
Yeah.
Me and Pooh loved him. Yep.
Both Eagles got some guys. You know what? We played against that. Rich Jackson was good. I think Rich is very good. I think he'll be a player. Dante Cromwell, I thought is solid. He's at Eagle now. Brown, I thought he was very good. At the JUCO coaching JUCO, that's grown men. I tell my guys, when I coached JUCO junior college, community college, junior college, I had 24, 26-year-old freshmen. Wow. Grown men. JUCO, a lot of people don't know there's no age on that. D2, there's no age. So I try to teach my guys that, like, you have to, your body has to be right for community college. Like Connor going to JUCO, I think he's going to do really well at the level. He's at a high major junior college. I think he's going to do really well. And Connor impressed us. We went through everything at him. He kept coming.
We want to say pause on that, coach.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah.
Hey, Paul from Brooklyn, man.
Yeah. You know that, right? Hey, coach, let's talk about kids, sticking their nose up at D2 and D3 schools. Like,
Yeah.
everybody wants to go D1. Everybody's not going to go D1. Like, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Especially with the transfer portal, right? I was talking to a lot of coaches down at the top 100 camp, and they were saying, like, yo, at the end of the day, if they ain't in the top 100 range or 200, not even the low mid majors is giving these kids a chance. Like, you have to be special.
Yeah, I just saw a kid commit to, I think, George Mason. He was like 86 in the country, and he's getting mid majors, top 100, like you said. Used to get the high majors.
86, yeah, 86
in the country. When we had Maurice, he was 45 in the country. We had 10, 12, 15 Division I head coaches in our open gyms. You were solidified if you were top 50 in the country.
That's a fact.
Yeah. And Smith and rivals, everything like that. Kachowski's report, those are guaranteed. I just think the portal and you need grown men to win. If I'm a coach, I'm a college coach, and I got 2 years left on my deal or 1 year left on my deal, I don't have time to develop a freshman. I need transfers to come in 24. I got to win right now to get another contract. And kids don't know that sometimes, when you commit to a school, or why they're not recruiting you is certain coaches are contract year, non-contract year. They might not like freshmen. They don't have time to develop them because they only have 2 years left on their deal. And then the NIL just exploded. Exploded.
And Coach, I wanted to ask you too. I remember, during the time in the playoffs, can you talk about the kind of support that the community and the school has kind of got behind you guys? Because you guys had great crowds, especially down the stretch. Your fans were loud. Talk about how they've become kind of a big part of the program and really help these kids out, especially, in the playoffs. You guys are great.
Yeah, my principal Wilbur, and our athletic director, Ms. Gurrell, they do a great job supporting us with everything we need. Our home gyms are amazing. I mean, home gym is kind of a big court with like the bleachers right on top of you, and it's like a tradition at our school. And they follow us on the road for the games that we can't get into. That's why we play all our non-leagues of tournaments. Our non-leagues of tournaments, so our parents and our student body can follow us. We have a great following and a lot of support. Just one of the best administrations I ever had supporting me. They're really out to help the kids, getting new bleachers. We just got 2 new scoreboards. It's they're building culture. And, like I was away for 9 years in college, and then these last 5 years, so much support, so much support. And just to talk about the transfer portal, because it's coming in my head right now that when you talked about Poole, about transfer portal, like we had a 6'8" kid, Shea John, years ago. Everybody was coming for him, trying to, get him to transfer and everything. And like we stuck to our coaches, we know what we can provide, and the kid ended up staying, did really well, had Division I offers. And with the coaches, the advice that I give the coaches that have young, good players, just do what you can, build your culture, and the kids, the real good kids, would see your value as a coach. It's more than basketball at Forest Hills. We have like a family environment. All my coaches assistant played for me, have college degrees, so that's the coach.
Let's talk about what do you guys do at Forest Hills to make sure that your kids are college ready as far as their grades, right? Is there a secret recipe that you guys use or a secret formula? Like, let's talk about that.
So if you look at anybody's rankings, we have the most student body in anybody in the top 10. We have 4 kids.
Wow.
One building, one school, 3,800.
Yeah.
One school. We don't have small schools, and we have a 96% graduation rate.
Wow.
All the kids in the classroom are, when you're in an environment just to learn and you're around other kids that want to go to Yale, Harvard, Ivy Leagues, or SUNY schools, but everybody has an objective there. They're not really, it's not silly time academically there. We have great support with our NCAA liaisons in our guidance department. And knock on wood, I've had great student athletes that come from strong homes that have the academic support. Because like I tell my young guys, I was a college coach, being a college student athlete is a huge commitment. academically and physically. Like my guys go through 7-8 days. We shoot during lunchtime. We lift after school. So it's almost ready. It was almost college ready. Just getting guys ready for college through that way. Their days are long. We talk about nutrition, eating. It's a lot. It's a lot. Playing at Forest Hill is not for everybody. And the guys we have, thank God, buy in, and thank God they're ready when they're playing in college.
And Coach, you talked about what you've said, some things that you've said about your staff and your lower level coaches and things like that. What advice would you give maybe a younger coach in the PSAL who may be struggling or maybe kind of around 500 and wants to kind of push his team to the next level? What kind of advice would you kind of give a coach like that?
When I first started, I went to the NABC coaches clinics.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Hart Garfunkel. I used to go to his clinics, the 5-star clinics. You get to talk to Patino, all these guys are there. The clinics, coaching clinics are so important. I know there's a lot of coaching clinics still. I still go to them, and that's number one. And just putting time into your kids, like the hours that you're getting paid for, that's just the bare minimum. You have to put in time to this, and the kids understand like the time you put in will equal the success. And for the new PSL coaches, unfortunately, it's a 6-month job, but you got to kind of be with these kids for 12 months, for 4 years, or some way to figure it out. And I learned to figure it out with having two children and a wife. My son plays AU basketball every way. He's a 12-year-old. We work out. It's a juggling act every day. My daughter's in gymnastics. It's just nonstop. And I learned that being an athlete. So as a young coach, you got to juggle family and coaching and being a teacher. Ask for help. I remember asking Mo Hicks when I was a 22-year-old coach at Young World. He was at Young World.
Wow.
In Harlem. I went up there. My friends were playing. I ran down Coach Mo Hicks and asked him about advice. I think he's back coaching. I think.
Yeah. He's at
Spellman.
Yeah, Carlos Spellman. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I ran up on Mo Hicks asking for advice because he coached my friend at Brandeis when he beat Mason Cam, Frank Hodge. He beat with Corey Wright when Brandeis beat Manhattan Center. Last time the two Manhattan teams was in the championship in the PSL. And he was just asked, I remember Tiny saying the same thing. I used to ask Coach Johnny Mathis, rest in peace. He questioned all the OGs. You always ask them and pick their brain. They're willing to help you. Don't let your ego get in the way to become a better coach. Ask the OGs. They've been doing the Clario, all these guys.
And the Clario was coaching when I was in high school.
He coached me in the PSL exposure game.
Wow.
Wow.
He beat him 3 times last year. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Times in 1 year, I'm talking my stuff. We lost and beat him 3 times in 1 year. I'm talking my stuff. Queens runs through us.
Y'all hear that?
I love
That's
that.
crazy.
Now, I better be on the shirt this year, Coach.
Now let's talk about Queens as a whole, right? Because Queens hasn't been where they need to be in a few years, right? What can the borough do to strengthen the borough so they can compete and at a high level against the Brooklyns and the Bronx, and you can't even count Manhattan, but that's just another story.
I think Queens has a lot of talent. It's just spread out in prep schools, and other borough schools got them. A lot of borough schools got them. Like RJ is a Queens kid, and he was at Eagle Bronx after he went to Jeff and St. Ray's, and he was in the city championship. He's a Queens kid, RJ Walker, right? So I think it's just a lot of Queens kids that go to different borough, and I get it. I think it says something about a kid that wants to stay in his borough, get the love. I think that's part of what you said, Pooh, like why we have a good foul. We have Queens kids that grew up in middle school, elementary, and their friends are still in Queens, and they kind of just continue to follow that. And I think Queens get better, the coaches, and I think coaches just got to continue building their culture and have kids build it from the ground up.
Because a lot of Queens kids, they end up doing well in the Capital School League. You know what I'm saying? So some of the top kids, they just jump ship over there instead of leaving the borough. They go to St. Francis Prep, to Christ the Kings. St. John's Preps and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Look at when he was in Brooklyn, an Eagle. Now he's at St. John's Prep, having win the city. So there's all many kids like that. I don't think Queens is weak at all. I just think they're just not all in Queens.
Yeah. Another thing too, like Coach Lodes said, even a couple of years ago, Malloy was almost like a national powerhouse. They were ranked so high that Queens was definitely looked at a little different. And Malloy's a little down, but like we talk about now, Forest Hill's on the rise, and Queens is definitely, I think, a program on the rise too. Holy Cross looking to have a big year, Prep. So definitely Queens, I think, is on the rise.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we always talk about that hunger, how people already look at Queens teams. People have rankings. We see the only Queens team. They're like, oh, it's whatever. It's okay.
Yeah. Yo, and I ain't gonna front. Like I think we had a show last year, and somebody was asking about Queens teams, and you get and repeating what other people saying to me, and I repeat on the show like, yeah, they're good, but then they're Queens good, and then that starts to linger, right? And I know the kind of talent that come out of Queens, but just like you said, they're so spread out, and then a lot of them jump shit from the PSL or go to other boroughs and play. So
yeah, we want to change that narrative. We try to change that narrative. I can't speak to other PSL Queens teams, whatever, but you see the schedule. We play whoever. You're supposed to be good. Let's do it. I'm not running I'm not here to get. It's not about my wins. I want to win the big one, the city championship. I want my kids to have the most experience. When I played for Coach Chobhaphand, we played against whoever. We didn't duck any smoke. Didn't duck any smoke. We went out of state every year. We went to Miami last year, played against really good teams in Miami. I was going to Houston, played some good teams in Houston.
Now, Coach, how does that last name work on a jersey? That's I got a question.
Great question, yo. Great question.
I immigrant parents from Thailand, and I'm Thai. I grew up in Elmhurst, and every day. That's why I went with Coach C. But then, in the last years, I feel like disrespect to my family and my dad. The last name, so I Chobhaphand, trying to change to that. Coach C. A lot of kids know me, but Chobhaphand is my name.
Chobhaphand. I'm not gonna forget that.
Chobhaphand.
Huh?
Chobhaphand.
Chobhaphand. There you go. I'm good.
Yo, they didn't know how to say Coach Krzyzewski before. I'm gonna make them.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
There we go, man.
Yo, I was just listen. I'm a dean of a high school, and sometimes I mess with my kids, but this is real. Like when I was a kid, and you're spelling words, and you get no right, but the no right. It's like, so read that word. I'm like, canal. Right? And then you start to get it. And then when I saw Krzyzewski name, it threw me off. I was like, Koretsky.
No idea.
Winning makes you learn how to pronounce.
That's a fact, because I was around when Mike Krzyzewski was losing.
Yeah.
And his first big recruit was Johnny Dawkins, and I was a big fan of the guy that was coming out of the DMV area.
You learn how to say his name. You probably don't know how to spell it right now, but you know how to say his name.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I would love to test somebody on that, right? Can you spell Mike Krzyzewski's name?
But you can pronounce it because the wins.
Yes.
Keep hearing it.
No doubt.
That's a fact. Hey, Coach, look, I forgot to show Coach Lodes this. I'm working with this new company called Xbox Go, right? It's an AI camera that you can hook up, hook up your iPhone to it, and it's be good for practices and games, especially a lot of coaches don't have film guys in their practice, right? So while you doing your thing, you don't need to have a person sitting there with a camera. It can just follow the action and everything that you guys doing. It's called Xbox Go. The link is I'm actually put the link in my bio tomorrow, so people can hit the link. And if they, put basketball heads, they get 10% off. And it's a one-time thing. So I know a lot of people, they're buying the huddle, right? They're getting the huddle, not knocking the huddle, but this is not a monthly subscription. You know what I'm saying? So while you're here right now, I'm just going to play a little commercial before we get you out of here so you can check it out. All right? Sit back and watch. Coach. And then also, if you wanted to follow just one player, you enter the number
Oh,
of the
nice.
jersey, and then follow the one player that you need. And then also, if you want highlights at the end of it, it can do that as well. A one-time purchase, I think, is $349, and then with the 10% off, you know, you'll be getting a great deal. So I'm be going around to schools and showing them, and you know, doing some test runs so they can see how it works.
Brian asked a great question earlier of how can I, like a young PSAO coach, I asked Coach Lloyds earlier about the younger kids, like 8th and 7th graders. You know, you need to have your program attached, not attached, but just to know those 8th and 7th grade, 6th grade kids. You know, the 30s, the 31s, the 32s. Just have a link. My former player runs the AU team, Jason Paul with Rundown. That's like our younger version. My son plays on it. His 2031 class, 7th grade class is going to be a big class for us. You know, kids since they're young. So that'll definitely help. I know Tiny used to do with Juice All-Stars. He had all the guys come up. That we're not that young, but, you know, the Coney Island kids used to be together, like, you know, Pooh. It definitely helps. You know, try to keep the kids in the community. They just go through, like Coach Lloyd said, playing in your borough, so like getting your family to see you every game, not have to travel to prep school 3 hours to watch a game, fly to a prep school. Like you lose that pride, you know, sense of pride, and getting that your whole family to see you. If you come to our gym, it's rocking. So, you know, be a high school kid while you're being a student athlete. So
yeah, next year I'm really gonna be promoting the Isaiah Lewis and Trey Dickinson.
Yeah, kids are playing that,
right?
coach.
I think all the high school coaches should be packed in that gym, because there's a player in there for each program in New York City. Yeah. And if you're planning for the future, you definitely need to be at the Isaiah Lewis and Trey Dickinson camp next year.
Absolutely. You guys,
that's a great idea that you have, man.
You guys do a great job covering high school basketball.
Thank you. We had to have you up here, Coach. We had to have you up here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Forest Hill's been ringing through all year, all summer, man. We had to have you on, Coach. Really appreciate the time. Like you said, everything runs through you, especially Queens. And thanks again for coming on. It's been great.
Appreciate you.
That's right. You're a big dog now, kid. All right, man. Peace, brother.
All right. God bless.
Thank you, Coach.
No doubt. Hey, man.
You did it again, man. You gave me 2 phenomenal coaches. We got some commitments today. I mean, what an episode. Where would you want to be Friday night, my man?
Man, this is awesome, man. 2 powerhouse coaches, veteran coaches, been around for years, and they represent New York City the right way. You know,
no doubt.
I think the message, man, is, you know, let's do our best to try to keep the kids in the city, right? Because as
they graduate, right, Pooh? You always go after you graduate.
That's right. That's right. And there's no promises. You go to somewhere else, another state, and a lot of time, a lot of those guys, they disappear. I'll give you a short story before I get out of here. Coach Ray Haskins had a player at Alexander Hamilton. He was the number 2 point guard behind Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cosell Brown, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
He was the number 2 point guard, left Alexander Hamilton to go to Oak Hill.
Yep.
We never heard from him again.
Wow.
And I know there's tons of stories like that, but I just had to mention that one because, you know, that resonates with me right now. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people make that decision and it didn't pan out, and their stock really started to take a dip, and, you know, sometimes making the move isn't the right move. And, you know, like we said, we've been supportive of so many moves, and, you know, so many of the moves are right, and I understand a lot of them, but like Pooh says, the BAC crew is handing out bad advice every single day. So
be
smart, do your research, talk to people, use guys like me and Pooh. Our message is always open. And like I always tell prospects, answer your phone. Like Coach Lodes says, answer your phone. You never know the opportunity that you're passing up by ignoring a message. Never know.
That's a fact. And listen, if my guy B is trying to hook you up with some schools, right, man, you better open up those phones. And college coaches, y'all gonna be complaining that y'all have any players. Make sure you answer the phone when my guy B is trying to call you.
100%, especially when you text me first. I get to the full list and then I hear nothing but crickets.
That's
Crazy.
right. Hey, look, B,
We're
appreciate
trying,
you,
man.
my brother. Look, we both was hustling to get back here, man.
We made it. We made
We
it.
made it. Another great show, man. Another great show.
Definitely, my friend. Can't wait till next week. And some players coming soon, but these coaches have been great. I mean, Coach Lods had me dying. I mean, and like Coach said, everything coming through Forest Hills, man. That had me fired up.
That's for sure. Coach Lowe's, man. Who knew? Who knew?
I'm just happy you got to see that side of him, man. He's got the one-liners like you won't believe.
And to see Coach Ben talkish, like, yo.
Yeah, man, and he deserves it, right?
Everything comes through
Forest
Queens
Hills,
now,
thank
baby.
you.
Comes through Forest Hills. That's a fact.
Such a great Pooh. Thanks again, my man. Can't wait to see you next week.
No doubt. Peace, brother.
Later. Peace.
We out.